What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Greg Kampe Show. We are live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. Of course, he is a Coach Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rule. And Camp, I know how to get you excited, Camp. Jonathan Turner, our producer here on site, has linked up the RJ's menu feature cam. And we have a gentleman, Clark Kloss, a season ticket holder, that's got the Mountain O Nachos. Your eyes got wide when you saw that Mountain O Nachos.
And he's been sick and hasn't been at the last couple shows, and I guess he's healthy now because he's eating all that crap.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely, he is. But, Camp, we have a lot to get to here today. Blake Lampman will join us via the telephone coming up in about 15 or so minutes. So we'll catch up with Blake and everything that he's doing on the staff over there at Michigan State, graduate assistant there. So we'll talk to him about that. So a ton to get to. Get your thoughts on the Lions and everything, Camp. But before...
Are you cold again? You got that stupid hat on again.
Camp. You got the same hat right there.
But I'm not wearing it live.
Camp, it's the coldest day in the history of mankind.
How would that look?
They look like a Guardian cap, right?
That does look like one of those football caps.
Yeah. All right, Camp.
I'm not going to say that's classless, but I got too much class stuff.
Okay. I'm freezing, Camp. All right, bottom line. We spend too much time in the Bahamas and Caymans and Hawaii and stuff. It thinned my blood out. But, Camp, big week for the Golden Grizzlies, obviously. Got a win over the rival. Got a midweek win at home at the arena as well. And as you look at the Horizon League standings, Camp, you guys back above the 500 mark in a spot where you can make a move.
Yeah, we've got a really big week coming up. We play one of the preseason favored in Fort Wayne. They're a game out of first. If we can get that one and then find a way to, go to Robert Morris, who's playing really well right now. Obviously, their win over us at our place, what they did this weekend by sweeping the Wisconsin trip, which nobody ever does. It's the first time Milwaukee's lost at home all year. And they went up there and they beat Green Bay, and then they turned around and beat Milwaukee. So that win they had over us now, it doesn't look as bad, as you look at this. So we go to their place on Saturday, and if we can find a way to win 2 this week, we're right back in it and in a really good position to get into that top 4 that, that everybody covets. So it's a huge week for us. It
is amazing, Camp, but we've talked about this before, just the roller coaster of the season. It's over, you're back. It's over, you're back. I mean, because it's such a long season, there's a lot of emotion.
You're thinking like a fan now, though,
right?
Right, and again, the whole thing comes down in this day and age, in this world, the whole thing comes down to postseason. And you've got to put yourself in the best position, and then you've got to win in postseason. We're all dying right now because of the Lions. And they went 15-2, had the greatest year in Lion history other than, not winning, 1957, they won the championship. But I'm driving, listening to talk radio, and it's like they had the worst year ever. People are mad and going, they're mad at the coordinators, they're mad at the coach, they're mad at this, they're mad at that. And it's funny, they won 15 games, and now it's over. So it's all positioning yourself for postseason. We've learned that over the years, and we preach that now, and we just got to keep getting better. And when you have those days that you fall like we did early in the year, the Robert Morris game, the at Wright State game, when you have a chance to win and you don't give up. You just keep getting better. And we've got issues. We have a very low floor when we don't play well, but we have a really high ceiling when we do. And the key is can we get this team on a roll and just getting better and finding ways to win games when you shouldn't win them, and when you should win them, you make sure you do. And those are the things that we have to continue to get better at. We've learned a lot about our team. We know that we're really, really good inside, and we've got to play inside out, and we're starting to figure that out. We just got to keep doing those things. We got to keep getting our play at the point guard better. We got to understand down and distance better, and somebody's got to start making some shots, and we're starting to see the ball go in a little bit. So, yeah, I'm pretty pleased with the week.
You can get involved with the Oakland Basketball Show as well on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. Just post with the hashtag #AskKampe. You can fire off any questions that you have. And also for the people watching at home on the Golden Grizzlies YouTube channel, you can just jump right into the message thread in there as well. We'll do our best to get to all of them. Last week they were coming in fast and furious. So, but get involved with the show if you want to. It is out there for you. But Camp last week, the win Wednesday night against IU Indy, and that was a basketball game where, Camp, I think you took care of business. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I don't like the way it ended. I mean, we had the game pretty well in control, and we gave them hope with some, poor decision making. We didn't handle the press really well. Now, one of the things, I think they scored 8 points in the last minute and a half to take a 18-point game to 10 or something like that. But, we're playing 11 guys, and those guys have to, even though they were in a spot they normally wouldn't be in, they still have to figure out, because we may be stuck with having to play that lineup through a game. Some game during the year, the bigs are going to be in foul trouble. They're not going to be able to play. DQ's going to be out of the game because he's fouled out. You have to be able to win, and it's in all situations if you're going to win a league championship and if you're going to have, a great postseason run. So it was good that they got those minutes. It wasn't good, some of the mistakes we made, but if we learn from them and still win, then it's good.
Stop me if you've heard this one before, Camp. Alan McCabe, Baru Neva-Larua, combined in the basketball game for 34 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks, 2 steals. They were 14 for 16 from the floor.
And that's the Wednesday game or the Saturday game?
The Wednesday game.
Because they were pretty close to that on Saturday, too.
Stop me if you've heard this one before, Camp.
Yeah, they're getting really, really, really comfortable with what we do. They understand, positioning and what we want to accomplish now offensively. And they're great offensive rebounders. Not good, great. And that's going to be what drives our engine if we're going to make a run.
Baru seems to have taken just a jump, Camp. And look,
minutes. It's just minutes.
It's just usage. That's it.
He's getting minutes, and the more he gets, the more confident he gets, the more we go to him. And think about if you're the opposing coach. Very few teams have a single great post defender because the post game's not really a big part of basketball anymore. So very few have a single post defender. No one's got 2. Right? And so if you're going to put your best guy on Allen, then Baru. If you're going to put your best guy on Baru, then you're going to go to Allen. Then you're going to have to double. And we're getting open shots. And, again, we're starting to make them. We're not making them at the clip we want to yet, but we're starting to make them. And that's huge. It's a guy like Woody and Christie and Jack and DQ. You're going to get open step-in shots. And if we can shoot the ball when it's coming out of the post instead of shooting it before it goes into the post, we're going to be much better off.
And remember, the Oakland Basketball Show brought to you by Henry Ford Sports Medicine, the official team physicians for Oakland University and you. For more info, visit henryford.com/athlete. He is Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rule. Happy you are with us. And then, Camp, let's fast forward to Saturday, Callahan Hall, the Metro Series rivalry. In a game, I think, Camp, where, look, you talked about it in every interview. You talked about it in the postgame, everything as well. This was not the same Detroit Mercy team that we have seen over the course of the last few years. Certainly, that was a team that played hard the whole time. But in and through that, you guys had you had your thumb on the game. You were in control of the game.
Yeah, but on the road, you're never really in control,
correct,
right? I mean, you know that run is coming, and they made it. They're coached by a guy that's a Michigan guy. He played at Michigan State. He's coached for Izzo for years. Now he's been given this chance to revive a storied program in an old storied building. And I believe they're going to get it done, and I believe the rivalry is going to get back to what it was. I mean, if you look at this rivalry, the first 3 years that we played at Callahan Hall, there were over 6,000 people at the game. And it was hopping, and, the place seats, I think, 9. And so it wasn't packed, but it was, on its way to being. And then the problem was we won too many of them. We've won 10 consecutive games in Callahan Hall.
Which no other program has done.
Marquette had won 8. And we broke it last year with 9, and then we he added to it this year with 10. It's going to be hard to get 11, trust me, because Mark has embraced the rivalry. We did a commercial together. We, to prep for the game to try and get people to come, and they had their biggest crowd. It was over 2,000. They haven't had that. And, Antoine Davis, they retired his jersey, and they didn't even get 2,000. So, he's recruiting local kids. He's bringing the desire to, compete back into that program. And you could just tell the intensity in that game. Anybody who was at that game felt the intensity. That game was physical.
It was different, than it has
chipping.
been.
I mean, I remember playing there in the early years where at the handshake line after the game, they're jawing at each other. There's pushing and shoving. And, you don't want to get it quite to that, but maybe a little that's not bad, to get that rivalry back the way it is. And you always want that, Michigan wants it in football with Ohio State and Michigan State. We want it with Detroit. Western Michigan wants it with Central Michigan. And you want to have a rivalry game. It's what makes it fun. And so it's great to see that's going to be back. And, I think the game at our place in a few weeks is going to be even tougher. I mean, even though it's in our building, it's going to be a rough game.
Stop me if you've heard this one before, Camp. Alan McCabe, Baru Neva-Larua combined 26 points, combined for 21 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 blocks, 3 steals. They were 10 for 19 from the floor. Offensive rebounds, 12 of them between the two of them. And it's become the formula, hasn't it?
Well, it's the only way we're going to win, And we were talking before we went on air. Cooper's doing a really good job of subbing in and resting those guys. I think Dang's getting better. The physicality of that game, I couldn't play him as much because, he's a tall, thin kid. He needs a year in the weight room, and I expect by this time next year he's going to, just like Baru. Look how much better Baru is now, from a year ago at this time. And I think you'll see Dang, because Dang can score the ball. He's physically gets bumped off right now his spots. But he's got a nice touch around the basket. He's long, he's athletic, and he's somebody that, as time goes on and he gets better, he's going to help us. So, we've got 4 guys in there that we can rotate in and out. Nassim is really starting to play well on the perimeter for us. He's starting to get comfortable out there. For a freshman, you're not going to see many freshmen at Oakland in the near future. And to see him compete the way he competed, and Woody had his best game since his injury. So, there's a lot of good things going on. And, I wish we were playing, the School of the Blind Wednesday instead of a really good team, because I like what's going on. We need one of those. We need a game like that,
A get-right game.
It's always good to have that when things are going good. But, no, we've got to step right into it Wednesday against, maybe the best team in the league.
Jason Woodrich, as you said, 10 points, 2 steals, was 3 of 5 from behind the three-point line. And, Camp, you and I finished the post-game interview at Callahan, and I mentioned to you, I said, could we see this from Woody just based on his resume for the numbers to get to where the numbers always are? You're talking like a 45% run the rest of the season. That's not out of the question for this guy.
Well, you saw from Goki last year, right? Jack at this time was probably, when we went to Milwaukee last year, he was probably in the low 30s from the 3, and he ended up at 40, which means he shot close to 50 the rest of the year.
Right.
Water finds its level, and there's no reason to believe that Jason can't do that, because he's done it this is his 5th year of college basketball, and he's done it. Same with DQ. DQ has just got to shoot 40% shots. He gets a little anxious sometimes, but he was on the show last week, and we talked about when he scores, we win. And he had 2 really good games this week, and he shot 40% from the 3 in the Wednesday game, I think, and it made a big 3 to get the game going at Detroit. And so we know these guys can make shots. They're going to have to make them if we're going to win.
Camp, for the game, what did you think about the three-point volume? Because it's funny when you look at the percentages, you're like, I don't know, but then you look at the way the wealth was kind of spread. Woody made 3 threes, Malcolm Christie made 3, Nassim made a couple. Yeah. It's one of those things where I think all in all, you're probably pretty happy, I would imagine.
I was, except for the point in the second half where we had gotten it out to about a 12 or 14-point lead. And then we came down and we shot 4 threes. in 4 possessions and missed them all. And the ball did not get into those 2 guys' hands. We'd made a couple, so we thought, okay, let's step up and make them. And they weren't called plays. They were just out of the offense. And I didn't like that. We just got to understand down and distance a little better. Got to get a little smarter. It's good that they believed they were going to make them, but we got to understand why we were making them. We get a rebound, kick it out, stepped into it, and made it. That type of thing. Allen gets doubled. Allen had 5 assists in the game, if I remember right, and because he threw it out of the post and we stepped up and made some. And those are the threes we've got to shoot. In some games, we're going to shoot 20 to 25 of them. In some games, we only shoot 15, but I don't think this team should be in the 30s. I just don't. And you know me, I've had teams I've wanted to shoot 30 to 40 of them.
Right.
But not this team.
And looking at that, too, Allen's such a willing passer. When the ball goes into the post, it's
too much.
So you do want to see him put the head down and go.
He had 2 or 3 times that he had the ball within 3 to 5 feet of the basket, and he's got to shoot. He's got to put his shoulder down and score and not kick it out. Because what happens if they run 2 at him and he misses, Baru's going to get the rebound. Isaiah Jones is going to get the rebound. We've got size in there, and we're a great offensive rebounding team. So go ahead and get more shots. He needs more shots.
All right, let's do this, and let's take a break. When we come back, we'll be joined by Blake Lampman here via the telephone from RJ's Pub. You're listening to the Oakland Basketball Show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
They say, losing hope, that's the real disaster. When Tropical Storm Fred sent a devastating wall of water and debris down this river, it seemed hopeless. But when the waters receded, Belfour was here. Not just to rebuild, but to help restore the life of this community. Belfour, restoring more than property.
Your Oakland University Golden Grizzlies.
Drives to the basket, it's in!
The biggest games on the blacktop.
4-3. Of course! Gorowski from 3!
We need you there.
Golden Grizzlies fans, get out your dancing shoes!
Restoration is more than walls. It's more than paint. It's more than cleaning. That's the thing we'll never forget. For Belfour, it's your memories. It's your life's passion. It's your home. Belfour, restoring more.
Yo, we're here at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. He is a Coach Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you guys back with us. And right now, as promised, we are joined by one of the toughest dudes to ever play the game here at Oakland. I'll definitely say that. One of the best shooters to ever do it at Oakland and one of the biggest winners here in the history of Oakland. Of course, it is Blake Lampman. Blake, how you doing, man?
I'm good. I appreciate you, Neil. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time. But, Blake, I guess before we kind of get things rolling, a lot of people know, obviously, for those that are listening that might not know right now, you're up there at Michigan State right now, kind of doing your thing, trying to begin your coaching journey. Update everybody on what you got going on.
After I graduated Oakland, I went to Michigan State, and I'm very grateful. Coach Izzo gave me an opportunity to be a graduate assistant here, and I'm enjoying it. I'm grateful for the staff at Oakland who put a good word in for me, and Obviously, the success we had last year helped me where I am today. So it's been really, really good. We're on a winning streak, but I don't want to talk too much about it because a job's not finished over here. So
are you taking taking all the
really
credit
good,
for it? Are you taking the credit for it up there? I mean, what were they last year? They were middle of the pack in the Big Ten. Now you're in first place. So I hope you told Izzo it's because you're there.
How about that, Blake? Were you the difference? That's what Camp was asking. Are you taking credit for it anyway?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I'm not taking any credit. They're definitely helping me more than I'm helping them, but I'm very blessed to be a small part of it for sure.
Can you hear me, Blake?
I can now. I didn't get the last question.
Okay. So I got a couple questions for you. The first one is, how different is it for you from the way we did things to what you're, one of the things you and I talked about in your journey to coaching, to get somewhere else so you see a different way for it to be done. And how different is it, the way they do things, the way they prep and things like that, the way they practice versus how we did? I think people would like to hear about that. And then if you want to say that we were better, you can, but you don't have to. Just go ahead and tell us what's going on.
Yeah, I need a little spark note of what that question was. It was blurred.
Oh, yeah. Camp just asked. He said, take us through what they do up there at Michigan State, kind of compare it to what we've done here at Oakland. And you can say, if Oakland did it better, you can feel free to say that.
Just how you prep.
I don't like the situation I'm in right now. This is not good, fellas. But, no, it's they're similar and different at the same time. Obviously, my role from being a player to being a GA is completely different, and it was a huge adjustment. I would say the practice time is a little different than it was at Oakland, especially my last year when I was on the injured reserve. I was definitely not practicing as much as I'm practicing now, or at least being at practice. But no, it's similar. It's I'm not going to say which one's better, but I appreciate that, Camp. And yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome for me to see both sides, and a high major level and a mid major level is the similarities and differences is really cool for me to be a part of and for me to experience.
Camp, you got to give him credit. He's already polished with the media. You know what I'm saying? He just he gave the answer and then moved on. So he's ready to go.
So my next question was, during the Michigan State game this year, when I yelled out a set, were you yelling, he's going to do that and that guy's going to do that, or did you just sit there and watch?
Coach, I was just making sure our guys were playing hard. I just wanted to make sure that they were playing as hard as they could, like I did for you. So, I'm not going to say I helped them. Obviously, they didn't need my help when they beat me for 5 years. So,
right.
I'm gonna say that I did what I had to do to get the boys prepared and made sure they were ready to go and playing hard.
Did you notice we had some play call names change?
I did. I did hear a little Jared Goff thrown out there.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that one.
Yeah, that was one you would shoot or Golke would shoot. I think it was bunch 54 or whatever last year. Now we had to I just had to do some changes.
I like that one. I like that.
Talking with Blake Lampman here. Jack Golke, by the way, dropped a YouTube chat message on there. Says Blake can't even show up at RJ's Pub to do the show in person, SMH. Well, Jack didn't either, Blake, so don't take that from him.
Wow, it's too dang cold. I can't drive. I'm surprised you guys have anybody there right now. It's freezing cold outside.
Hey, the fans are taking that personal. They got a full house out here, Blake. You know
that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about.
Talking with Blake Lampman here on the Oakland Basketball Show. All right, Blake, let's get into it. Camp's not going to do this to you, but I'm going to do it to you. Camp wanted me to kind of ask this of guests that come on here, and now you're trying to get into the coaching circles as well. Give me the Izzo Kampe comparison. Is there anything that you can compare? Is there anything that you've noticed about them, differences, similarities, whatever you got?
I would say they both love to compete. It's so evident that They're willing to put the time in to compete and to win and to put their players in the best situations to do that. I would say it's interesting that their coaching style is so similar but different at the same time. Please don't ask for examples on the spot, but they have a fire about them, and they're so enthusiastic about it. And one thing I have realized too is they don't really care, and this is not easy to do. They don't really care if you like them in the moment. You know, it's not about liking your coach. It's not about liking your player. It's about the respect and the standard and the accountability that they're trying to get you to uphold. And as a player, and even as a first-year GA, it took me a long time to understand that. But once I did understand it, the respect I have for both of them went through the roof. So yeah, that's my answer I have for you.
That's pretty good.
He's going to be a good coach.
that was a pretty good answer. Hey Blake, we got a couple of Ask Blakes that have come in, so if you don't mind, I'm gonna fire these away at you. In our YouTube chat on the Golden Grizzlies YouTube channel, Gary McCarrick says, Blake, what's your favorite memory at Oakland other than the NCAA tournament win against Kentucky last year?
There's too many to count. Definitely last year as a whole, was unreal. I have so many stories that me and the boys just talk about all the time. Me and the coaching staff talk about all the time. Still to this day, we will for, forever. One of my favorite memories though probably is after we lost to Northern Kentucky my freshman year there was no Gatorade left in the cooler after the game, and I was pretty pissed. So I took the only thing that was in there, and then Coach Kampe came on the bus and came to the GAs that were sitting right in front of me and said, "Who the hell took my Dr. Pepper?" And I had a Dr. Pepper in my backpack sitting right behind him. So that's
I was after a loss.
I had to do the walk of shame. I had to do the walk of shame and give him his Dr. Pepper back. And
I remember
that's probably that's one of my favorite or Diet Dr. Pepper probably yeah. And that's probably one of my favorite memories though.
We got another one here. Hashtag Ask Blake. Giovanni says, after last year's game versus Michigan State at the Brez, I recall Izzo mentioning how you would be a great coach one day. Has Izzo been recruiting you to be on his staff before you graduated from Oakland? And if so, how long?
No, there was no really recruitment, I'd say. We had a conversation after the year, and, me and Kampe had a conversation when I decided to not redshirt, and I kind of knew that playing professionally would be tough with 2 torn labrums. So we had the conversation. He said he would help me get here, and the cards kind of just fell where they are. And I wouldn't say there was much recruitment. Like I said, I'm benefiting way more from being here than coaches having me here. But it was. I'm very blessed for how it all worked out.
Do they have you practicing with them, playing in practice?
I'm slowly getting back into it. My body's getting there, but I've jumped in a little bit, and I'm trying to. I got a fire and competitiveness in me that doesn't want it to be done, but I'm definitely making sure my body's right.
Speaking of that, Blake, and this was something I wanted to touch on with you, and we've had this conversation privately before, we've had it publicly before. What you went through to get out there on the floor. And I mentioned this all of last season, really, where I would go down into the gym in whatever hotel we're staying at. You were always there, always doing whatever it was you had to do, stretching routines, lifting routines, whatever it took to get out there on the floor. Blake, you emptied the tank here at Oakland, literally and figuratively.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I did have a lot of injuries that I had to go through. And, one thing, I wish I could have been a little mentally stronger, especially towards the end of the season. But the physical strength, or I guess a weakness, started to impact my mentals at the end of the year and really affected, I think, how I played on the court and a little bit off the court as well. So that's one thing I don't really think I have any regret, but I do wish I could have handled it mentally a little bit better. But yeah, I have no regret for as far as playing and what we accomplished for sure.
All right, Blake, we got one more for you before we let you go. Gary on the YouTube chat says, Blake, what words of advice would you give this year's Oakland team?
As I don't know if this is the word, but submit to authority. I had a conversation with Kampe at the beginning of last year, and I basically told him, whatever you say goes. I'm going to do whatever you tell me to do, and I'm going to make sure the guys do whatever that you tell us to do. And that way, if we lose, it's on you. It's not on me. So,
smart man.
That's what I'm going to say to them is they have the blueprint. They know what they're doing, and if you follow it, you'll be successful.
All right, I have one quick question before we let you go. Now that Michigan State has been known as one of the top defensive teams in the country, right? They always have. That's how they win. They defend and they rebound. Now that you've gotten a year under your belt of teaching the man-to-man, the way they play it, in the gaps and all that kind of stuff. You're a head coach next year. Are you playing man or are you playing our zone?
It depends on my personnel. I definitely think I see both. I see why we ran it. I see why Michigan State plays man-to-man. I do love the zone because it probably was the reason I could have played 30-plus minutes a game and hide a little bit. But I think I was pretty effective in it. So I think I have to stick with the answer. It depends on the personnel and kind of what level too.
Well, Blake, that'll do it for us. We'll get you on your way. But again, man, just wanted to tell you, it's what you did for the university, man. During your time here, you took us to heights we've never been before. And just wanted to say thank you for your time at Oakland. And I know one day soon I'll be calling a game and you'll be on the sidelines as a coach. So appreciate your time, Blake.
I appreciate it. Love you guys. Talk to you soon.
There it is, Blake Lampman, everybody, here at the Oakland Basketball Show. We'll be back with more. We're live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
They say, losing hope, that's the real disaster. When Tropical Storm Fred sent a devastating wall of water and debris down this river, it seemed hopeless. But when the waters receded, Belfour was here. Not just to rebuild, but to help restore the life of this community. Belfour, restoring more than property.
Your Oakland University Golden Grizzlies.
Drives to the basket, and it's in.
The biggest games on the blacktop.
For three. Of course. Borowski from three.
We need you there.
Golden Grizzlies fans, get out your dancing shoes.
Restoration is more than walls. It's more than paint. It's more than cleaning. That's the thing we'll never forget. For Belfour, it's your memories. It's your life's passion.
Basketball Show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. Of course, he is a coach, Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rule. Happy to have you with us. We got a Nacho Cam update. Kloss over there single-handedly has gone to work, Camp. That's pretty good. You got to give it up. Yeah, give it up for Kloss, everybody.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
You got to lay it. Yeah, you got to. There you go. Absolutely. That's some good work, though, certainly. Oakland Basketball Show brought to you by farmer-owned dairy products from Prairie Farms. They're made with 100% real milk from local Michigan dairy farms. Prairie Farms, a proud sponsor of Oakland University Athletics. Camp, before we get to the Ask Campy portion of the show, when Blake Lampman finished his last story there, it kind of brought back a memory for you.
Yeah, I need to clarify that a little bit. I wasn't mad that he took my Diet Dr. Pepper. He was a freshman, and we don't allow our athletes to drink carbonated drinks. So the fact that he took the Diet Dr. Pepper, I had another one, trust me. Yeah. I have many of them. Yeah. But the fact that a player took a carbonated drink was what I was upset about. Now, I turned it into me versus him, and he was a freshman, so... Yeah, I got after him pretty hard about that. I had forgotten that story. I did. As soon as he brought it up, I remembered it, though.
Yeah, I remember it, too, because it got uncomfortable for a second on that bus.
It did. That's why I don't take the bus anymore, so I don't put them in those situations anymore.
All right, it's time for Ask Campy. You ready to rock, Camp?
Yep.
All right, let's do it then. On the YouTube chats, Jay Money is back, Camp.
We missed him last week.
We did miss him last week, but he's back. Hashtag Ask Campy. I think the regular season in Horizon League doesn't have much value if all 11 teams in the league make the tournament. What are some Campy thoughts on it? Any cool stories related to the Horizon League tournament?
Well, I had really pushed for it to get to Detroit. We got it to Detroit, and then we screwed up, right? We had great teams that got beat. And, I remember the first year we played Kay Felder's team, and we had 11,000 people that night for that game. 11,000 people in the old Joe Louis Arena, and we lost in the last second. And we win that game and go to the NCAA tournament that year, and the following year we're the number 1 seed, and we get beat by the 8th seed on a last-second mistake. It hurt the league, it hurt the tournament, it hurt us, it hurt everything. And so, then it wasn't making as much money as they had hoped at downtown, and the league took it to Indianapolis, and and now it's starting to grow there. There were a lot of people at our championship game there last year. I think 4,000 or 5,000, which is not 11,000, but it's a great atmosphere and a great tournament. And I like the way we run the tournament. I think that all 11 teams should have an opportunity. I'm not a guy that believes that the way the tournament's set up in the seeding, though, the regular season does mean something. Last year's the only time that a team that wasn't in the top, since we went to this seeding, a team that wasn't in the top 4 and had a bye in a home game got to Indianapolis. And one of those teams got to the final. Milwaukee got to the finals against us. And the league was so good last year. 8 teams won 20 games last year. So that's the way it's supposed to be. When you're in a one-bid league and you all need to have that opportunity. Every player that works their tail off needs to have the opportunity to play in that tournament. So I'm good with the way it is. I do think the regular season for old guys like me is still important. We get a ring if we win the regular season championship. We cut the nets down. Championships are championships, and the kids will go through their lives remembering it. Blake Lampman, he's going to remember Kentucky and all that, but he's also going to remember winning the league championship. So I think it's important. I'm good with the way it's run.
Let's switch over to X. Giovanni on X. You said, Camp, the rivalry is back between Oakland and Detroit. Has there been any discussion with Coach Montgomery about how to bring back the rivalry? Is that a common goal between both programs? The joint promo video makes me think yes. Well, the answer is no. We have not discussed it. I'm sure that in his interview he was asked that because, I think that there was it went away a couple years there, and now just by my saying it's back was based on how they played and how people in that building were acting, and they had students at their game again, which they hadn't had, and that they didn't just show up. Somebody went out and said how important this is, and their students, and they were brutal. They were. I mean, I liked it. They were. You like it? Yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, right? They were brutal. They were on Isaiah it affected him. I think Isaiah probably played his worst game he's played at Oakland on Saturday, and then he made a big 3.
You know, he fumbled a couple easy plays, and I think they got to him a little bit. And it was good for him because it'll help him grow as a player. And next year when we go there, I think he'll have something for them. You know, so yeah, it was great.
MD Fun 89, Mark, who's in the building tonight. Can we make permanent the red and black uniforms for the Metro Series games?
Well, I think pretty much that's another sign of it, right? Because in the old days, that's what it used to be. They'd have a red out when we would play there, and we would have a black out or a gold out or white out or whatever we did here. So, yeah, I think so. And, you know, when we play them in a couple weeks, we need to fill the place. You know, we need to act like it means something, too. And our students have to be there and really, really fill that place up and have a great game.
Pittsburgh Marty in the house. Another week where I'm not the first question. Dang it. As we enter the second half of league play, what kind of adjustments do you make to practices, practice schedules? What adjustments seem to have worked the best over time? See you in Pittsburgh this weekend.
Yeah, and the league schedule is a little different than it used to be. You used to play everybody, and then you play them again, right? Now, I mean, we've played Wright State twice already, and we haven't played Fort Wayne yet. You know, we haven't played Green Bay yet. So you just... For us, the second time we play somebody is always, we think we're pretty good in February, and that the second time you're playing people because we know what they're going to do against our zone, and we can make adjustments and things like that. Practice time gets shorter as the year goes on. You know, obviously, I'm fearful of injury. I'm fearful of being out there too much, tired legs, keeping your body fresh. And so, you know, like today's practice was film, shooting, and then about 45 minutes of you know, some individual breakdown on what Fort Wayne's going to do and walkthroughs and that. Tomorrow will be a very spirited 1 hour playing just what Fort Wayne's going to do and what we can expect from them, and we'll be ready to go Wednesday.
Let's jump back over to the YouTube chat thread. Mark Stanzik asked a question. Ask Kampe, how do you plan to defend Jalen Jackson? He was named the Horizon League Player of the Week last week.
Yeah, and I think Jalen Jackson has had the best year of any player in the league. He and Stillwell at Milwaukee. That kid's averaging a double-double, been the National Player of the Week. And Jackson is somebody, he is a unique player, especially for Fort Wayne. He's the, you know, Bello, their point guard, is really, really good. But I think Jackson's the guy that stirs the drink for them because most of what they do is shoot the ball. And Jackson is more, he can make an open shot, but he's going to rip you and get to the line. He's shot like 60 more free throws than anybody else on their team. We can't foul him, and we've got to square him up and guard him and not let him get penetration into the paint. You know, when the ball gets deep against our zone, that's when we get in trouble with the kick-out passes and that. We got to keep that ball from getting in, and he's great at getting it in there. So, you know, he's a real important piece in the scouting report, and he's a great player. I mean, like I said, if you had to pick right now who the player of the year in the league is, I think it's between him and Stillwell. And it could be either one. Now, we're not even halfway through, so it's a little early to be talking about that. But we have played those games, and he's been that good.
Gary asks in the YouTube chat, ask Kampe, can you talk about Northern Illinois sports looking for a new league? Could the Horizon be a landing spot?
Well, that's a really good question because when we heard all this, you know, obviously we've heard it too. The people in the league aren't talking about it. You know, maybe my athletic director knows something that I don't know, but nobody's going to talk about that because all those kind of things are done behind the scenes, and they are looking for a place. I know they probably want to go to the Missouri Valley. I don't know if the Missouri Valley wants another Chicago market team. I know we probably do want a Chicago market team. We lost UIC a couple years ago to the Valley. It would give us an even number of 12 teams. So I think it's probably something that's being talked about and looked at, and it's something I would embrace if it happened. I just don't want to go to 22 league games, though. You know, if we do go to 12 teams, I don't want to see a full round-robin schedule. I'll have a chance to voice my opinion. Whether people listen to me or not, I don't know. But, you know, our non-league games are so important and they mean so much that if they do go to a 22-game schedule, though, then now we've got an extra home game every year that we don't get a lot of home games in the non-league. So that is a positive spin on it. But I want to keep playing the non-league schedule we play. I think it really helps us. It makes us better. It makes us money and all those kind of things. And like I said a couple weeks ago, if we're going to be able to use money that we make in those games to get players, I want as many of those games as we can get. So I'd hate to see non-league games go away.
Gary had two other ones, just kind of rapid fire here. Camp, when are we due for a jersey refresh?
Next year.
Next
year, you'll see. We're going to completely redo our uniform next year. I want to bring gold back, the yellow gold too. I really like those uniforms. The gray didn't go over well a year ago. The league didn't like our gray and said we can only wear it at home, and we're wearing white at home, so we only wore them like twice all year. But the gold is a good look. The Jalen Moore, Jamal Cain team, that gold was really cool. And then I also want to look at and I don't know if we'll do it all at once because it's fairly expensive to completely recreate your brand in that, but I do kind of want to look at that new logo on there too. I don't know if we can get that on a uniform, but I wouldn't mind doing that. And I also want, I like about 6 or 7 years ago, we did a throwback jersey.
Yeah.
That people really liked, and it was a plain Jane jersey. We didn't put names on the back of them,
right.
and people liked that. So we'll look at that. We'll look at a lot of things. We'll come up with something in the spring.
This kind of piggybacks on that. Jake asked a question. Coach, can you talk about the new basketball logo design, when fans can expect to purchase some gear with it on there?
Well, there is gear now on the website with it. I think we have a T-shirt and a couple things. They kind of asked me to roll that out on wearing something, and I did. It was too small a logo. We got to get it a little bigger. But in this off season, we're gonna get some hats with it. We're going to get hoodies with it. But people have on Twitter tweeted at me what they'd like to see, and we're going to do what they like to see.
Pretty simple, right?
Yeah, I mean, anybody that's got ideas, just tweet it at me, and I'll take it to our people. We want you to be happy. We want you to have what you want, so we'll do it.
Then the final one here from Gary. When do public tours of the practice facility begin?
Well, I was in there the other day, and the floor is being put down. The main baskets are up. The side baskets are not. But the floor, I was told by the end of this week the floor will be done, and then it'll take, have to let it sit for a couple days, and then they'll start to paint on it and everything. I was up in the office area. That was good. The locker rooms are all, got their walls up and all the things. You can see where the showers, you can see where everything's going to be. So it's coming along. I think what we'll do is there's a new rule that's going to allow us to have people at practice in the summer, where in the past we could not have fans at summer practice, but now you're going to be able to do that. So, once we're in there and we know everything works and that, we'll probably do one of those practice nights,
Very cool.
The only problem with that is there's no seating. So, if you can't stand for 2 hours, maybe we'll just do a 45-minute practice or something like that. But we'll let people in and we'll walk through it and show everybody what we got going on. And anybody who wants to donate a little money to help it make it look better, then we'll ask for that too.
There you go. Jay Money had a follow-up question too. What happens if the 11 seed team wins a tournament? Do they go to March Madness? Yes, Jay Money, they do, just like in the Big Ten, just like in the SEC.
Yeah, there'll be a play-in game, but. I'll tell you what. I'll take the playing game right now. You tell me we can go to the tournament and we got a playing date in that opening night, because you win that, it's a NCAA tournament win, and it's extra.
It's a check.
It's an extra 2 games. You get for the next 6 years. You get two game checks instead of one, and that's big for the league, big for Oakland. It's about $1 million for the league. For every round you go forward. So. We helped our league a lot last year by winning, and if we could have won that next, it would have really helped the league,
Nathan Brown, real quick before we ride out here, was DQ assigned to shoot that many threes against IU Indy?
No, we always, and he was on the show the day before that or 2 days before that game, and we talked about how when he scores, we win, and I would love to see him shoot 10 threes a game. As long as they're good step-in threes and they're not, bringing across half court, take a step back and fire it. I don't really like that three. But, I've seen him make those threes, and when he's got it going, he can shoot any three he wants when he's got it going. But let's get it going first.
All right, let's take the final break. When we come back, we'll talk about the upcoming week here for the Golden Grizzlies. You're listening to the Oakland Basketball Show. We're live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills.
In every moment, in every shared smile, OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card is there, earning 3% cash back on groceries to stock their dorm room, 2% back on fueling up the tank for the journey ahead. With a $100 welcome offer and the first year's annual fee waived, it's more than just a card. It's your partner in making every moment count, even the ones that tug at your heartstrings. Make every moment and every mile more rewarding with an OU Credit Union Visa Signature Card.
You know, they say, losing hope, that's the real disaster. When Tropical Storm Fred sent a devastating wall of water and debris down this river, it seemed hopeless. But when the waters receded, Belfour was here. Not just to rebuild, but to help restore the life of this community. Belfour, restoring more than property.
Your Oakland University Golden Grizzlies.
Drives to the basket, and it's in.
The biggest games on the blacktop.
4-3. Of course. Borowski from three.
We need you there.
Golden Grizzlies fans, get out your dancing shoes.
Restoration is more than walls. It's more than paint. It's more than cleaning. That's the thing we'll never forget. For Belfour, it's your memories. It's your life's passion. It's your home. Belfour, restoring more than property.
Final segment of the Oakland Basketball Show, live from RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills, brought to you by Henry Ford Sports Medicine. He is a Coach Greg Kampe. My name is Neil Rule. Big thanks to Blake Landman for coming on a little bit earlier. Remember, all the episodes are housed on the Golden Grizzlies YouTube page, so subscribe to that. Latest episodes, you can find them all there all season long. Big thanks to Greg Hessen back in our 1270 AM The Bet, 97.1 HD3 studios as well. Very fine Oakland man also. There was some university news camp. It was announced that the university classes will not be in session.
Is that because of the cold or
because of the
snow?
extreme temperatures?
Oh, okay.
Yes, that is the case. Any updates? Basketball games on as scheduled, right?
No one's told me it's not on.
Yeah.
I think the league would have to cancel it, not us. So I could be wrong on that. I don't know the protocol, to be honest with you, Neil. I'm not at that pay grade. So
No, okay, gotcha. No, but as far as we know, basketball game on,
Yeah,
ready to roll. And speaking of that, we need you out there on Wednesday night. Purdue-Fort Wayne, huge game in camp. I don't know.
I would think there's no classes. I think that we should have the largest student crowd of the year. There's nothing to do. Maybe we should.
You got nothing else to do,
Yeah,
right?
maybe we should do something for them.
Yeah. I don't get to say this very much during the Oakland Basketball Show. 4 of the next 5 at home, Camp.
Yeah, we're in the part of the schedule that, you know, and I said that, you know, we went through that hard spot, and it's going to be, I mean, it's always hard, but it's going to be a little more favorable, right? We got home games. We usually win home games, so that doesn't mean we will, but, you know, this is a chance to get ourselves in position, to be in position, right, to be in that top 4, and who knows what happens, you know. 5 losses, won it last year outright. And, you know, so that means to do the same thing, we'd have to win the rest but one. Can we do that? Sure, we can do it. Will it be easy? No.
Camp last season against Purdue-Fort Wayne, and I know the teams are different and everything like that, but the philosophy remains the same here in the arena. Purdue-Fort Wayne got over 90 points, where they scored 98 or something like that. Then the rematch at Purdue-Fort Wayne, you held them in the low 60s. Right. And that's the prescription, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, normally I'll tell you 59's the number, but I think 65's the number. Wednesday night, you know, they put on one of the greatest offensive displays I'd ever seen in this business in our game last year. And it was just unbelievable what they did when they came in here. And that's going to happen now and then, you know. I mean, Tennessee is number 1 in the country, and they got beat 70-43. You know, and those things happen during the course of a long basketball season. So we've got to understand what they're capable of, and they're a team that can shoot 53s and make 25 of them. That's where they live, and Jackson getting to the basket to score and kick out threes, and we got to guard that. Our strength is our defense. Our strength is our rebounding. Their strength is shooting the three, and their strength is they get a lot of steals defensively. They run through passing lanes. They try and jump the ball, and they try and do some things. They'll probably struggle a little bit to guard our post players, right? They'll probably struggle a little bit to guard our post players, which means they're going to, if I'm them, I'm going to pick up pressure, get after our guards, and try and get us to turn the ball over between the half-court line and the top of the key. And if we can handle that first wave of defense and handle that and protect the basketball and get it inside, we can keep the game at our pace. If we turn the ball over and that game gets going like this, it's going to be a long night in the arena.
And then over the weekend, just outside of Pittsburgh at Robert Morris. Of course, Robert Morris got the win at the arena earlier this season. They shot 48% from the floor in the second half. We had a 7-point lead at the halftime mark, and I think we stretched that out to 10 right out of the kick of the locker room. What has to be different?
Well, we got to guard Cam, number 8. I forget his last name. Cam Woods. We got to guard him better. He had 29 against us. We got to guard him better. We've got to do a little better job in our game plan on what they do. They're a great offensive rebounding team, too. Milwaukee, them, and us in Cleveland State, the four of us, our strengths are our rebounding, and especially the offensive end. And we've got to do a great job defensively rebounding, and we've got to guard them better than we guarded them. We got to have more respect for what they do. And, they're legit. They're a legit team. They've got 13 wins already on the season. He's a very good coach. He's done a tremendous job with them. But we can't worry about that until after Fort Wayne. We've got to put everything into Fort Wayne.
Camp, last couple minutes of the show, and hate to end on a down note, but obviously you're a big Lions fan. We're all big Lions fans here around the Oakland basketball show. Just kind of your take on what happened, because I know you were locked in. We were all locked in. Bitterly disappointing, no question.
Yeah, I feel we won 2 games this week, and I had a bad Sunday.
Yeah.
I felt like we lost, and it was just after 50, 60 years of what we've gone through, and to have the expectations. And I'm a fan just like everybody else is a fan. It was disappointing because I really felt that, I didn't know if we were going to be able to get to the Super Bowl, but having the games at home and doing everything you're supposed to do in the league season, and then to have a game that went the way it went, it was disappointing. And I know there's a lot of heartbroken people around. I'm one of them. I know there's no question I'm one of them. But you know what? When draft day comes, I'll be there cheering on whoever we get and whatever we got to do to get better. They've got a great coaching staff. They've got a great front office. I've got to know Brad Holmes a little bit, and the man is first class, and he is as good as it gets at doing his job. So I have tremendous respect and tremendous belief that nothing worth anything's easy. And I myself coached teams that had great regular seasons that didn't go well in the postseason. We talked about that a little earlier, and I know the devastation that I felt in the off season and when those things happen, I think Campbell wishes that the preseason started tomorrow, because they want to get back to work and make up for it. And it's just to get to the Super Bowl is really, really hard. And I think they're going to do it, though. I really do. I believe in this staff. I believe in that regime. So it's been a long time for us, but it's coming.
No, I'm with you, Camp, all the way. I mean, the talent evaluation, everything that goes into it, certainly. They'll be there. Before it's all said and done, they'll be there. There is no doubt. Got about a minute left of the show, Camp. Any final thoughts?
No, I really hope that the students can show up Wednesday and everybody shows up for us, because it is a very important game for a game in January. It'll set the stage for what we can do. If we lose, it's not over, but it's changes the vibe, right? It changes. We've got 3 in a row. We're feeling good about ourselves. We've got 4 of the next 5 at home, and it's time to do something special.
Camp, I believe that was your first Vibes drop in the history of the Oakland basketball show. You about the Vibes now, Camp?
I'm not quite sure I remember how I used it, so I hope I didn't use it as slang.
No, you kind of did.
Oh, well, that's my mistake then.
All right, Camps. That will do it for the Oakland basketball show. Big thanks to everybody for coming out here to RJ's. Big thanks to Blake Lampman, Greg Hessen back in the studio, and all of you for showing up here. We'll talk to you again next week. This is the Oakland basketball show live at RJ's Pub in Rochester Hills. Well, see you later.